Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 RTG career mode. We are back today with the Season 2 finale. Looking likely to be returning to the Premier League, but still a little bit of work to do with 6 games to play. We're currently 10 points clear of Crystal Palace in third, but they do have a game in hand. We do still have to play them, and we've got some tough fixtures to close out the season as well. So not quite there yet. A few more wins will get us across the line. If we can kick off the episode with a big one here away at Molineux, that will take us one step closer. Of course, we're looking to close out the season with promotion to the Premier League. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, big game for both clubs here. Wolves currently on a poor run of form and see themselves dropping down the table. Need to get themselves back in the hunt. And of course for us, looking to go up automatically. As Shaqiri lets fly, perfect start. Looking to secure our automatic promotion to the Premier League. I'd say probably 3 more wins will do it, and I'm looking to get the first of those here in the Midlands. Yeah, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to have all 6 of our remaining games coming today. And I do think if we beat Wolves and Palace... Oh, Huddersfield onside! Great strike by the Spaniard. If we can get the wins against Wolves and Palace, I think that might be enough to send us up to the Premier League. We look as if we're set for the win here against Wolves, as we lead by 2-0, and the perfect bounce back after our shock defeat against Bolton at the end of the previous episode. Wang looks to go through the gap and gets through that gap, lays it off. What a huge save, Bilal. Yeah, honestly, man, the more football that Bilal gets, the better he seems to get. More experience he's getting, and I know he's only 67 overall, but honestly this is the one gripe I have with the rating system, is he feels like he should be like at least an 80 overall, like low 80 overall. With the saves that he is making, he feels like one of the best keepers I've ever used in FC. He's absolutely superb, and he's made a huge save at the end of the first half as we grind out the 2-0 victory. First game of the episode, and a big win to start off as well. Well guys, before jumping into our next game, we've got our final batch of scouting updates for this season. So let's see if there's anyone making the cut in the final month. Well, I'm actually going to reverse the order that I'm doing it in this month, and I'm going to start with Tunisia, but unfortunately nobody making the cut. There are a few players in here who look like they could be okay, but we don't have an idea of the ranges. And as for Canada, it's been a pretty disappointing year of scouting, to be perfectly honest. One of my worst years that I've had in a career mode save, but we've had nobody come through from Canada, so I am going to give this young 16-year-old Sam Murphy a academy scholarship, mainly just because I want to have my one token player from each nation in the youth academy. Well, as for England, as you know, we were keeping an eye on a few players here who we thought could have some decent potential. Unfortunately, none of the new lads are going to make it, but I am going to give out a couple of pro deals. They are going to go to Elliot Anderson, who looks pretty decent at 16 years of age. Also, Riley Price, another right back, just 14 years of age, looks pretty good. And finally, we're going to give one to Jordan Hansen, who's got a wide range of positions and is 6'5" at just 16 years of age. But that does, of course, mean for the rest of those guys, they will unfortunately be turned away. But we've bolstered out the youth academy with some more really great young players. I'm hoping we will see some nice development on the English lads that we've brought into the academy, and we do have our token player from Tunisia and Canada as well. But academy looking pretty stacked. Let's dive into our next game, taking on Huddersfield at home at the Britannia. Our lead at the top remains at 10 points to Crystal Palace in third, but they do still have that game in hand. So a great chance against one of the sides down the bottom of the table to extend our lead at the top here. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, we had a really disappointing result when we played Huddersfield at the Kirklees, and we conceded a really late goal from that Herbie Kane free kick as Moran goes close. And yeah, we drew one apiece, but hoping to get our revenge today as Million. Oh, the keeper really should have kept that out, I feel. Maybe unsighted on the way through, but Million wearing the armband today opens the scoring. Yeah, of course, Million was our top scorer in the Championship last year, and I don't think we've been quite as reliant on him this year as we were last. Of course, Josselu's our top scorer in the league this year and right at the top of the goal scoring charts. Bay has been a little bit inconsistent. We've got a bit more out of Moran and a few of our other players, but right on cue, Josselu, the top scorer for Stoke City this year, doubles the lead, and we've not been quite as reliant on the likes of Million this season, but Josselu has been on absolute flames. That's going to do it here at the Britannia as well. Comfortable win again for Stoke. Similar to that game at Molineux where we just controlled things in the second half. But there's no surprises to see Million and Josselu, two of our most important players on the score sheet, as we pick up another 3 points in the Championship and move one step closer to the Premier League. Well, huge game up next as we host Crystal Palace at the Britannia. It's almost done for Stoke City. We're 10 points clear. We have 4 to play. Crystal Palace still with the game in hand. So if they were to win that and cut the gap to 7 and then beat us here today, it would make it a little bit squeaky bum time at the end of the season. One of our 4 defeats in the league this season did come at Selhurst Park, and we know this Crystal Palace side is absolutely stacked. So we'll have to be at our best if we are to pick up another 3 points. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, I mean, I think even if we manage to get a point here today and avoid defeat, I think that will be enough for us. It's such a big gap at the top. It feels like it's just a matter of time until we at least secure second place and promotion back to the Premier League. As Henderson lets fly from range. Jesus into Junior. Back to Gabriel Jesus. And Junior. And Ismail Assar, and it's a bit scrappy. But Crystal Palace take the lead, and it is that man once again, Ismail Assar. Well, still trailing at the break, and Gabriel Jesus has had to leave the field for Palace. Odsonne Edouard on to replace him. Still leading by 1 here, the Eagles. Sarr again, causing more issues. Munoz into the sub, Edouard. And oh, that's a great save by Bilal. Still not fully clear, and Hendo gets his head to it. Wharton picks up the loose ball. Sarr again. Edouard, Ismail Assar. I can't sort my player switching out. And Crystal Palace double their lead, and it is Ismail Assar again. Well, there's the whistle as well, and Crystal Palace deserved winners, but Ismail Assar running me ragged once again. I will be glad to see the back of him if Crystal Palace remain in the Championship next season. But as it stands, that is all still up for grabs, as that win will close the gap to 7. Crystal Palace will, of course, still have the game in hand. It's not done just yet. Crystal Palace giving themselves a great chance at automatic promotion as well. Still lots to play for in the final 3 games. So a quick look at the table, and as I say, the gap to Palace in 3rd is now 7. West Brom, who we face next in 4th, only 9 points behind us, and if they get a win against us here, then as I say, it completely opens things up. I've just checked, and Palace's game in hand isn't actually until the 13th of May after the season's concluded, which is a bit strange. So we're just going to have to take it game by game, keep doing our job and get the wins on the board. 3 to play. I'd say 1, definitely 2 more wins will be enough, and we will be heading back to the Premier League. Let's see if we can get the first of those here away at the Hawthorns against the Baggies. Come on, the Potters. Hendo needs to get there and doesn't. Ball through. Elijah Adebayo, former Luton Town man, now at the Baggies, opens the scoring for West Brom. And if Stoke suffer back-to-back defeats here, it throws the Championship promotion race wide open. Baker into Bay. Play back to Baker and round the corner for Hotaloo on the left peg. Top bins. And two of the Championship's top scorers both on target here today as the Spaniard draws us back on level terms. Well, there's the whistle as well. Second half a little bit dull. But for Stoke City, it's a decent point on the board. I'm sure West Brom would have been after all three to give themselves a slight glimmer of hope of automatic promotion. For them, it will probably now be the playoffs. But for Stoke City, a valuable point on the board that moves us one step closer to the Premier League. Let's go and take a look at the league table after today's results. Well, that turned out to be a valuable point for us as Crystal Palace were held to a 1-1 draw against Wolves. Southampton beat Bristol City to move to within 2 points of us. But I'm not fussed if we finish second. I just want to make sure we finish above Palace, which at this moment in time is looking likely. They still, of course, have that game in hand, which will come after our final game away at the Stadium of Light. But a point in our next one away at Blackburn at Ewood Park all but secures promotion back to the Premier League for Stoke City. Let's go and get the job done ourselves, and then we won't have to worry about Crystal Palace. Come on, the Potters. That's given away, and Bay picks up the loose ball. Bay looking to drive at that Blackburn defence, and he's done well. Still the skipper. Catter on the edge, looks to place one, and it's off the woodwork. Closest either side has come in what's been a pretty tame first half. Come on, can we pinch it? Linton does win it. Use the pace, Linton. Push the pace, son. Still Linton. Needs somebody on the edge. It's Kabore. It's a Kabore shot deflected. And I think that is going to do it. One of the most frustrating games of FC 25 I have ever played. Blackburn just playing with no intent, kept the ball and passed it round the back the entire game. Really disappointing result, and 2 points dropped in our hunt for promotion and the Championship. Well guys, how about this heading into the final day? I said I don't care about the Championship, and it looks as if we're going to miss out as well after that draw. We need a 7-goal swing on the final day, but Southampton have already played, so we need to win by 7 goals. But in good news, Crystal Palace now can no longer catch us. Even with a win on the final day, they're 4 points behind us. So we are going back to the Premier League, which is the main thing. But I can't lie, despite saying I don't care about it all season, I'm a little bit frustrated that we've missed out on the title. But anyway, heading into our final game of the season, Sunderland away at the Stadium of Light. I have no idea why this is being played after all the remaining games, but again, this happened to us last year. Really strange outcome, but we've got to win by 8 goals if we are to finish in first, which is very unlikely. But I would like to end the season with a victory. Come on, the Potters. Yeah, underway here. Pretty tough game to close out the season, of course. There's not a huge amount riding on it because we know that second place is locked up as a minimum. And it is very unlikely that we're going to win by 8 goals to finish in first. So, yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to go all out attack and see how many we can get. But it's very unlikely that we're going to get 8. As Hotaloo finds Thompson through the gap for Hotaloo, and there's the first of them. 1-0 up inside 8 minutes, and we only need another 7 more. Surely nothing more than a yellow, that. Really? We have had so many red cards in these first 2 seasons of the Savers. Hotaloo gets brought off to a standing ovation from the travelling Stoke fans. But honestly, man, I can't believe that's a red card. To me, that is so soft. And it's not the first soft one we've had throughout the course of this save either. Well, there is the whistle, and we will end the campaign with 3 points and a winning goal for Hotaloo in his final appearance in pro football as well. Unfortunately, falling short for the Championship title, but Yeah, I'm not too gutted. My aim was to go up this season, and although we led for the majority of the campaign, we fall just short to Southampton when it matters most, but Stoke City are returning to the Premier League. Well, guys, here is a full look at the Championship table after a long, grueling season. Southampton do win the title on goal difference, 6 superior than us in second place. Crystal Palace will take on the Blades after finishing third, and a Black Country derby between West Brom and Wolves in the other playoff semi-final. Norwich missing out by 2 points, Coventry just behind them. Watford, QPR, Sunderland and Hull City wrapping up the top half of the table. But going down from the Championship down to League One this season are Oxford United, Bolton Wanderers, Huddersfield and not Birmingham City, who managed to survive. You love to see it. As for the domestic competitions, we know Manchester City defeated Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final earlier on in the season, a competition where of course we reached the semi-finals only to go on to lose to City, and that's back-to-back League Cup defeats for Arsenal in this save. Arsenal did get their hands on the FA Cup last season, but this year it was a West London derby in the final as Fulham took on Chelsea. But it was Maresca's side, my boys Chelsea, who edged the final by 3-1 to win another FA Cup trophy. As for the Conference League this year, of course, Chelsea won it last year. Really interesting Final Four with some cracking semi-finals. But it was Eintracht Frankfurt who ended up going all the way to beat Rapid Vienna in the final by 3-0. And in the Europa League this year, we see Chelsea, who, as I mentioned, won the Conference League last year, knocked out by AC Milan, who they themselves managed to reach the final, taking on Manchester United. But it was the Italians who ran out winners in the final by 3-1 to pick up Europe's silver competition. And as for Europe's gold competition, some really interesting quarter-final ties there. You see at the bottom, Newcastle beating Arsenal 6-5 on aggregate. They did end up falling short to Real Madrid in the semi-finals, and Man City beat Barcelona, as we saw a repeat of last year's final, which Manchester City won. But this year, it was Real Madrid getting their hands back on the trophy. 2-2 after extra time, but Madrid winning it 4-2 on penalties to reclaim the Champions League from Pep Guardiola's side. And as for the other leagues, it's Arsenal getting their hands on the Premiership for the first time since the Invincibles. Liverpool, who won it last year, in second. And Spurs and Aston Villa wrapping up the top four. I'll run through the full table here. Of course, Stoke will be heading back to the Premier League next year, as we see Middlesbrough, Burnley and Leicester City heading back down to the Championship for next season. In the WSL, it was a bit of a surprise last year to see Arsenal on top, but this year clarity restored as Chelsea winning the WSL unbeaten with 18 wins, 4 draws and no losses in their 22 games. And another unbeaten season, this time in France, as PSG make it 31 wins from 34, winning the Ligue 1 Championship by 25 points clear of Monaco in second. And as for the Bundesliga this season, Bayern Munich's reign only lasted for 1 year, as Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen back on top. 3 points clear of Leipzig in second, and it's Frankfurt wrapping up the top four. Dortmund in fifth and Hoffenheim in sixth, heading into the Europa Conference League for next year. Well, what about this for a season in Italy? I say every year it's a different winner, and Inter, who won it last year, down in sixth. AS Roma and Milan level on points at the top with near identical records. Juve just a point behind in third, but it was AS Roma who clinched the title on, I believe it's head-to-head, the deciding factor in Italy, although they did have a superior goal difference as well. Real cracking season in Italy this year. A change of winner in the Eredivisie too, as Feyenoord dropped to second. PSV winning their first of the save, with Ajax in third and FC Twente in fourth. In Portugal, it's back-to-back for Benfica, Sporting in second, and Porto in third, wrapping up the Champions League spots, with Braga in fourth heading into the Europa Conference League. And the top two have swapped in Saudi Arabia as well this year. It's Al Nassr pipping Al Hilal to the title, who won it last time around, with Al Ittihad in third. And I know I've got a lot of Scottish fans who like to see the SPL table, and it's Rangers on top once again, making it back-to-back championships. And in Spain last year, we saw a pretty rare occasion with Atletico Madrid on top, but order has been resumed with Real Madrid first, Barcelona in second, Atletico in third, and Bilbao in fourth. And a bit of a turn-up in Turkey as well. Besiktas, who finished in fifth last year, on top ahead of Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce by a single point. Galatasaray in third and Istanbul Başakşehir in fourth, with Trabzonspor in fifth. And finally, to close out, we will take a look at the MLS table, where it's FC Cincinnati out on top in the early stages. Well, as for the individual player stats, our goal scoring was a lot more centralised coming through Joselu. He finished just behind Cameron Archer with 27 goals, but he was our only player in the top 25 for goal scoring at this campaign. And as for assists, it's Josh Windass of Sheffield Wednesday who leads the way with 15. Cameron Archer, who had a great season. How he didn't win player of the season, I'm not sure. Just in second place, one short. We did have a few representatives in the top 25. Linton Miner picked up 11 assists, which is pretty decent considering he wasn't really a starter that often. Bay, who won the assist title last year, in sixth place with 9, and Million also picked up 7 as well to finish inside the top 20. And as for clean sheets, well, it's almost always your keeper who finishes top of the clean sheet charts. And it is Bilal Guic in his first full season in the first team, with 25 clean sheets in 45 appearances, missing just one game. The 17-year-old was absolutely fantastic this year. And I want to close out this season by just going through the squad hub very quickly. I'm not going to spend as long on this as I usually would, as I don't really want to keep going on. We've already been going for quite a while. But for Bilal Guic, won the goalkeeper of the tournament in his first year with the club, and he was absolutely fantastic. It's no real secret that this team is more than good enough to be playing in the top flight. I think everyone in our starting lineup, bar Bilal in between the sticks, is 75 overall or above. So yeah, it's no real surprise that we are heading up to the top flight. This squad is very, very good. We are going to have to look at bringing in some star quality over the summer. We are going to lose a few players. The likes of Ngakia will be going. We'll probably lose Lyndon Gooch. And although the starting lineup is very good, we definitely need to bolster out the squad with a little bit more depth and a bit more quality. Of course, we're losing the goals that Joselu provided last season. Our top scorer and second to only Cameron Archer in the championship. So we're definitely going to need to bring in a new number 9. I have to say, quite a disappointing season for Bay in front of goal, with just 3 goals in all competitions and only 2 of them coming in the championship. Not great from the skipper this year. And of course, we turned down a big bid from Chelsea last season to keep him at the club. Again, we've got lots of players here. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, but definitely going to be looking to bring in a new sort of core of the team. Probably a central midfielder, a central defender, and a striker as well to bolster out the squad. Xherdan Shaqiri had a really, really good season. Of course, hands in a transfer request, but I'm going to be keeping him here. I'm hoping he might retire at the end of next season, but I'm going to be keeping him until the end of that contract anyway. Moran, of course, came back to us. 6 goals, 5 assists. Pretty solid second season at the club. And Million, another of those players that play in behind the number 9. 8 goals and 8 assists for him in a pretty solid season as well. A couple of the youngsters out on loan have grown pretty nicely. And of course, Joselu is retiring at the end of the season, finished with 29 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. We're really going to have to replace his goals in the summer. Adam as well, got to have a quick note on the big man. Only 71 overall, but this guy is so clutch. He's only got a year left on his deal. I might let it expire at the end of next season because he is getting on a bit now, but I love this man. He's so important, and with 9 goals this season in all competitions, he was a real source of goals for the team. Emre, I'm thinking I might loan out next year because he just didn't get much football, and Nathan Lowe as well. Just the 4 goals, but most of those appearances did come off the bench. So it is difficult to get those guys the game time. And we're definitely going to look at bringing in a new centre forward in the summer. We've got a few more players with their deals up. I think I might give James Milner another contract off camera just for another year, which I imagine will take him to retirement. We're going to lose Ashley Phillips, Emil Kraft and Moran with their loans expiring. But we may look to bring one or more of them back in the summer. But guys, that will do it for today's video. As I say, we will be returning in the next one with the summer transfer window as we return to the Premier League with our Stoke City squad. As I've mentioned, we're definitely good enough to be playing at that level, but I do still feel we need some serious investment in the team to make sure we can survive the drop next season. I'll catch you for the next episode very soon, where we will crack on with the new campaign heading into season 3. Take care, guys, and peace.